Today we will be reviewing key concepts from the article Promising Practices in Instruction of Discovery Tools, published in the journal Communication and Information Literacy, Volume 7, Issue 1, 2013. Co-authored by Stephanie Buck, the Instructional Design / eCampus Librarian at Oregon State University, and Christina Steffi, the Librarian at Schuylkill Health. First, some background information will be helpful. Before we dive into the article, it's important that you understand what a discovery service is. Traditionally, if you were looking for information on a certain topic, you would go to the databases that specialize within that field. You would use your faceted search boxes and keywords to come up with a helpful search to get your data. You would then repeat this process in other relevant databases. More and more people have a desire for a library search process that more closely aligns with what they experience on Google. They want the one-box search. Discovery services try and provide this by combining search results from all of the library's databases, the catalog, and even open access content into one place. To develop a list of promising practices for using discovery tools in instruction, the authors utilized surveys and interviews targeted to librarians whose libraries subscribe to one of the four main discovery services: EBSCO's EDS, Ex Libris Primo, OCLC's WorldCat Local, and the Serial Solutions Summon. They sent out their survey through the Information Literacy Discussion List, sponsored by the Association of College and Research Libraries. The survey was open for 10 days and they received 71 responses. 61% of respondents had been teaching for over 6 years. The survey was 22 questions long and included demographic questions and open-ended responses. In addition, they conducted 7 interviews that lasted between 30 and 45 minutes. The authors then took those results and came up with a list of 7 promising practices to help guide librarians in utilizing discovery tools in their sessions. The first practice is determine the relevancy of the tool to your class. The tool should be relevant to the level of the students, the course content, and the assignment. Many librarians indicated they favored using discovery services when teaching lower division students, and then moving to subject-specific databases as students moved into discipline-specific courses. However, others have noted that discovery's greatest benefit may be to those doing interdisciplinary studies and may help round out research, making it a viable option for upper division and even graduate studies as well. Next is develop a strategy for introducing the tool. While it was noted that most students simply want something that just works, students must grasp on, at least at some level, to how the tool works so they can decide when it is appropriate to use and can evaluate the results it gives them. You can see the top descriptions survey participants marked as successful in introducing students to discovery tools in the table. During the interviews, some of the librarians went into detailed descriptions of the explanations they use. One discusses the differences between the open web and library content, shows them all of the individual databases, and then moves on to present the Discover tool. Another explains search tools as being at different places in the evolutionary refinement process, placing Google as the chimp, followed by Google Scholar, and ending fully developed as a Homo sapien Discover. And lastly, one describes Google as Walmart, where everything is available but of low quality, compared to Discover as a high-end boutique with less quantity but much higher quality. Practice 3 is engage students in active learning. Provide times for hands-on activities that allow students to explore the Discovery tool. Most librarians will demonstrate first, but others will allow the students to experiment before they present. It was noted that face-to-face, hand-on instruction was perceived by the librarians to be the most successful way to teach the tool. One classroom activity asked students to compare database results to those found in the Discover search. Another had students figure out ways to refine their search and then share their findings with the class. Information overload is very common in the electronic search environment. The problem is made exponentially worse within discovery searches because of the sheer massive information it is pulling from. Students need to learn that searching is a process of trial and error, and that they won't necessarily get the perfect results the first time. It is also important to teach them how to filter the results and get to a digestible list. The survey noted that the three most important features to teach to students were how to limit to just scholarly/peer-reviewed material, how to use the advanced search feature, and how to restrict to a certain format type. The fifth practice is use instructional material that supports student learning, not just busy work. You want to provide items that can serve as scaffolding to students. It was noted that well-designed worksheets, while not always appropriate, can often be helpful because they help keep students on task and can guide them to important features they might otherwise miss. If you are unable to include a hands-on activity within your class time, it is even more important to provide online tutorials and research guides that students can refer back to later on. Next, emphasize the transferability of search skills. The goal is not to teach students simply how to master the Discover search interface. Instead, they need to learn how to apply basic information literacy skills that they will be able to utilize in subject-specific databases and general searches once they no longer have access to library resources. Sessions should emphasize how to critically evaluate results, formulate a research plan, and narrow results. The final practice that Buck and Steffi suggest is to share successful instructional practices and experiences. The librarians surveyed and interviewed rarely shared their successes through workshops or meetings. Those who did share mostly only did so informally. The authors encouraged librarians to be intentional about creating space to share their successes. The article finishes up with a small conclusion section. Here the authors hone in on two key takeaway points. First, librarians are not teaching discovery tools significantly different than they do subject databases, catalogs, or web search tools. Good pedagogy is still good pedagogy. Secondly, the nature of discovery tools allows librarians to spend less time teaching the intricacies of an interface and more time on transferable skills. They note that this is one of the promises of discovery tools. Quote, the ability to improve users' information literacy skills overall because they will learn techniques to effectively search any tool they may encounter. Only time will tell if discovery tools truly live up to this promise.